Welcome to Cadiz. Cadiz in Andalusia, and this week we're the second week of the Sunshine Tour of a 6-week program, the 25th running of the Sunshine Tour beside Vejer de la Frontera, a hilltop town, Moorish influence, and as you can see, the wonderful facilities of the Sunshine Tour, which have evolved over the last 25 years and are now the most complete set of arenas anywhere in the world. In week 2, we have the Cadiz Grand Prix, a 50,000 euro Grand Prix that is held here on the grass arena, David Broom Arena. Most arenas have names of very famous riders or horses. And this week, the course builder is Louis Koenig, the top international course builder from Holland. As you can see, the facilities in Montemedio are extremely complete, and on week 1 there were 600 horses present. Now for the week 2 it's 1,400 horses that are here, and amongst all the facilities they've also improved. They have added another 1,000 stables to the facility. This is the arena. So we have a round of 13 jumps, 16 efforts, and 60 horses. The competition is well underway. At this stage we have 8 clear rounds, and we will take it starting with the 47th rider. The weather is good and has been good for the first 2 weeks. Being right beside the Atlantic, the weather can sometimes be a little windy. Today is no exception. It's quite windy, but beautiful conditions for show jumping, and a very enthusiastic public and very enthusiastic riders as well. The Sunshine Tour is used every year and more as a preparation for the season ahead. But of course, in its own right, there's a big prize money to be won. This week it's the second week, and we have this 50,000 euro Grand Prix, and it's also a class that it's a ranking class, as they call it. So it does count for the Longines ranking points. So first for us to come in the ring, we just had Greg Broderick for Ireland that jumped the clear round, and this time it's for Turkey, and it's Omer Carvelli, and he's riding Cheston de la Pomme d'Or Z by Chippendale Z. This horse was ridden here last year by Diego Bilbao for Spain, and was actually changed hands at this show. Again, it's a very typical of this show, that it's a show where a lot of horses are being spotted, a lot of horses changing hands. This horse has a wonderful technique. Just a little green there, a little hesitant. Quite a few horses come out from the indoor circuits, and they find it in the big open space of those large grass arenas. They can be a little bit lost. But a very nice horse, just a 9-year-old, making a wonderful shape to jump there. So as said, we have, at this stage, we have 8 horses clear. Amongst them was for Sweden Ms. Ruckley. So Diego there going out for Omer going out with 4 foals.
And now it's Johnny Pals riding the 13-year-old for Pleasure Stadium.
Again, a horse that's showing a lot of promise, just maybe a little bit overcome by the size of the arena, and just a little bit backed off. Next in the ring for Holland, we have Johnny Pals. Johnny Pals is riding the 13-year-old for Pleasure Stallion Fernando. Johnny Pals, one of the real pros on the Dutch circuit, very effective very effective rider. The course of that Louis Cunning has laid down, as you will see, and you will see with the rest of the riders. It's not an over big; it's a 1.50 m class. But the big challenge has been so far for a lot of the riders is that the distance, especially to the combination and to the double, are longish distance with a vertical going in. And some of the horses tend to get a little flat and having to rub off the verticals. Verticals have given more trouble than the Oxers in this round. There's Johnny going in with 4 folds.
From the Netherlands finishes on a score of 4 folds today. 11 to go on the Terminal.
I said this
had a good day.
Sunshine Tour this year in its 25th running. Huge development has happened since last year with a whole new set of arenas. They have about 14 arenas. They give arenas a rest from 1 week to another, which allows them to have the arenas in fantastic condition all the time. So next in the ring now we have Matthew Sampson. He's riding Valse de Pépin Vaste, 10-year-old by l'Arc de Triomphe. This horse was second a couple of days ago in a 1.50 m class which was won by Laura Crowd, so very much in form. Jumping very well here today as well. Again, there is one of the tricks of this class with very committed forward distances down to verticals, and quite a few horses getting caught by that. As mentioned 2 days ago, he was second in a very good class, which was won by Laura Crowd. Coming home with 8 folds. So we're still on 8 horses. We're now coming to the last 10 of this class, and amongst those are some very top riders and also horses and riders which have good form and shown good form here over the last 2 weeks. First of them is for Holland, Eric van der Vleuten. Eric is riding Joost again, an 11-year-old gelding by Cantos. This horse was bought the back end of last year from Pim Mulders after he won a 4-star Grand Prix in Amman. And during the indoor season, Eric has got to know Joost, and definitely Joost has been in extremely good form here since being here. He's had 6 starts here at the Sunshine Tour, was 4 times in the money. Some of the indoor shows during the back end of last year, the horse was just a little bit spooky sometimes, and more difficult to manage. A brilliant jump, wonderful athleticism. I think now they're really clicking together and making very little out of this class, and coming in a beautiful clear round. So Eric will be a strong contender. This is a fast horse, as well as being very clean and very athletic.
Netherlands go through with Eric van der Vleuten, and that is wonderful.
So that brings the total to 9.
For Brazil,
I would say that Louis Cunning, the course builder, will be very pleased, since anything between 10 and 15 horses in the jump off on a 60 horse class would be just the right number. Now next in the ring here for Brazil is Pedro Junqueira Mollart, and he's riding Sedorek. Of course, Pedro, the star in Dublin for the Puissance, with a different horse than this horse. With this horse, Pedro has been very successful on the Moroccan tour, the back end of last year. Unfortunately, again, caught on this vertical going into the combination. The Brazilian team have announced that they are going to enroll Philippe Gerdau as team advisor. Philippe Gerdau, who successfully was the chef d'équipe for France for a good few years, but that they didn't renew his contract, and Philippe has announced this week that he has joined the Brazilian team. Not in quite as an involved role as he had with the French team, but I'm sure they will benefit very much from his wide experience. So coming in with 4 foals, Pedro. So next, after Pedro, we have for Ireland Richard Howley. Richard is jumping his very experienced campaigner Chinook. Chinook, a very, very fast horse. Richard, well used to the Sunshine Tour. He was the leading rider of the Sunshine Tour in 2017, and started today well. He already won a class. Earlier today with another horse. So he is with Chinook. A lot of the competitors would be fearful if he gets into the jump off, because Richard, as a rule, never hangs around, but with this horse he can really make some magical turns. Richard, who last year was also the world champion in the 5-year-old in Lanaken, so it has a strong team and a very competitive rider coming in on a clear round here. There's a beautiful clear round of Richard, horse looking extremely well, and Richard has been in flying form with all the horses so far here at the Sunshine Tour. There's so much opportunities for competing horses with this week. There were 10 arenas used over the week, so one needs a little bit of experience to be able to not overuse horses, because there's that much opportunities, but Richard is well experienced. So next, one of the top young riders in Europe, in the world, it's Harry Charles, and he's riding Lord Anna's Jr. Harry, who just 20. After this week, he's leaving the Sunshine Tour after this weekend, where he's called for duty to Doha, Qatar, for the first leg of the Global Champions Tour, where this year he will be competing on the Miami Celtic team. So this horse, a relatively new horse for Harry, and jumping extremely well here in the Sunshine Tour. And coming in also with a clear. So right, so next for Ireland is going to be Billy Toomey. Billy Toomey will be riding also a relatively new horse for himself. It's one of the beauties about this Sunshine Tour is that it allows riders to get to know their stars of the future and get them know on different surfaces, including grass surfaces. So this is Lady Lou. Lady Lou, previously written by Louise Sewell. Lady Lou already a 1m50 international winner in Basel for Billy. And again, one very much for the future. By Lord Zed. All the surfaces in the Sunshine Tour, sometimes the weather fortune rub behind there on the back pole. All the surfaces in the Sunshine Tour are remarkably good. Again, they give them time to rest, especially the grass arenas, but they're in wonderful condition. So unfortunately, 4 falls.
And we remember that wonderful ride of hers, My Lord Carthago, that took her right to the highest level. Here,
so now, next on the list, and with just 5 more combinations to go, or 6 more combinations to go, one of the great riders and fighters in the game, Penelope Prevost, who keeps on making and finding new horse. This time she's riding Cartino 10. This is just a 9-year-old stallion by Carico. And again, this is a horse that she's only jumped 8 rounds with, 6 of which were clear. And a horse with a tremendous jump, but the record prior to her riding it didn't quite show the promise that she's able to get out of this horse. Big, scopy horse. Penelope, who has had to re-find herself a string, and here she's again found a horse that she's able to be competitive with.
Very good.
Extremely motivated, effective rider, showing all her skill there with this young Cartino 10.
And after this, we have 4 left to go. Italy is next, and we have 1 round for Italy.
So we're now 12 clears with 5 horses left to go. First of these 5 is for Italy. Luca Monetta, and he's riding Amethyst Ducati. Luca, who has retired his old campaigner Connery, and is hoping that Amethyst is gonna take over from Connery. He's a winner both in Madrid during the Madrid Horse Week World Cup show, and also a winner in Basel, and got caught on the vertical there, and a couple of other fences before that. I think Luca is deciding to retire. Plenty of jumping left over the coming weeks.
Luca Maria Moneta, unfortunately, electing to retire from the class with
next in the ring is a relatively new combination. This is Gudrun Petit, and she's riding Seacoast Val de la Madre Cluny. This horse has changed hands a couple of times over the last few years. He was originally written by Spain's Sergio Moya, then had a spell with Jos Lansing, who sold the horse to Mr. Onichenko, and was written for one show by Penelope Le Prévost, and now has been sold to, or share has been sold to the Seacoast stable, and Gudrun has taken over the ride. Horse with a wonderful use of his back end. Gudrun, who has had a phenomenal season in 2018, and this is going to be a very useful addition to her already strong strength. Coming in with a clear round there, and a very nice clear round. Time allowed was generous for this first round at 80 seconds. Most horses coming in around 75, 76 seconds easily. Time wasn't a great factor, but the related distance were very committed, very forward. Next for Brazil, one of the sport's great gentlemen, Spanish-based Pedro Vinícius for Brazil, and he's riding for Felicia, a 14-year-old mare by For Pleasure. This year, Pedro, who normally is very much a competitor on the global tour circuit, has decided not to take part in the global tour and to concentrate on the Pan Am Games of this year. Global Champions League have announced their team, 16 teams, and as mentioned before, Doha is going to be the first leg, followed by Mexico. There's been a few changes in the teams, so Pedro decides to retire. Four falls with at this stage 13 clear rounds, unlikely to bring in any money. So now for Belgium, one of the horses with the best form in this competition. For Belgium is Jérôme Guéry. He's riding Kelstar du Vinpont. This is a 10-year-old gelding by Canaan. Won the Grand Prix d'Auvers in 2018. Was fourth in the 155 in Mexico. Won a class in Warragam and in Madrid last year. So this horse on paper would have to be one of the very strong favorites. Jerome is a very stylish rider who's finding horses and sold 2 of his top horses last year, but it hasn't taken him long to get back to the top. Coming on a clear round, this being the 14th clear round of this class, with just 1 horse left to go. On recent form, the next horse would be the favorite, having won a 1 meter 50 class 2 days ago, and a combination that is always a danger. So last to go in this class will be Laura Crow. Laura is riding Deauville S. This is a 13-year-old by Diamant Semilly. Deauville S is a horse with its own mind. Not the easiest to ride, tremendous scope, extremely careful. And of course written by Laura Crowd, which is a great asset. Oh, fortunately, vertical going into combination caught her. It's a great testimony to the Sunshine Tour that Nick and Laura were always very present as well in Wellington, which would be the counterpart in the US on the other side of the Atlantic, that they are very much present here in Montemedio, and they very much value the training and the benefit of competing here during those 6 weeks. So this is it. This is the first round. So it leaves us with 14 clear rounds. For Sweden, Stella Rölk with Delina, Christopher Fraser, Sylvia Brazzini, Jacob Elstrom, Jody Hall McAteer, another young rider, Julio Arias, Jake Sewell, another young rider for Great Britain, Greg Broderick, and then the 6 which we saw, Eric van der Vleuten, Richard Howley, Harry Charles, Penelope Prevot, Gudrun Patate and Jerome Gary. So this is the 14 starters. Louis Koenig has an unusual jump off. We will discover it here with Stella.
Stella, first to go, Sweden.
Stella, a very talented young rider from Sweden, based with the Van der Vleutens, previously written by Michael van der Vleuten, Delina, by Michael Stallion Verdi. Jumped a magnificent first round. Is now going on this 6 fences, 7 jumps, jump off. So 1 is what was fence number 9, then 10, then to 11. An opportunity for a short turn there. Stella deciding to go for a nice, safe, clear round, it seems. and the first two, 12A and B, and turning down to 15, and then down to a short turn to a high vertical, which is a new fence again, 16. Very unusual. We're used to see a lot of jump offs where one finishes on a big long gallop. Here, this will be one more on having a good pace and at the same time being able to take a chance, especially to that last vertical, which is tall vertical. We'll take it. We'll take a little bit of jumping. So next now in the ring for the UK, for Great Britain, we have Christopher Fraser, and he's riding Quisandro. Christopher Fraser, very much in form, had a show in Villeneuve-Loubet recently, where he won the Grand Prix. So very much in form. Actually jumped in 3 classes there, never was out of the prize money, was finished first, second, and 1/10 third. Horse jumped a great first round, very careful horse, again very demonstrative behind. Turning a little shorter than Stella's. To the first. Galloping there, diagonal through, and now taking a short turn to the last fence. But unfortunately, he's paying the penalty for it, lost the stirrup. So obviously, turning is going to be important, but then the ability to jump the last fence and leaving it up is where the class is going to be.
2 jumps, 12 to go in the jump off, and it's big money at stake today. As I already said, over 12,000 euros to the winner. Will it be for Italy?
Next in the ring is the
Jack Daniels, Oxer, Silvia Bazzani,
for Sweden. Sorry, no, mistake. First we have for Italy, we have Silvia Bazzani, and she's riding Jack Daniels. A new horse to her, again, looked a very promising horse in the first round. Careful horse, she had to organize him a little bit, probably will not go to win. It's a new horse to her. Sylvia and her husband always keep a very nice team of horses, and this one is no exception. Take a chance there to the last fence, but again paying the penalty.
And at the moment it is into second place for Silvia Bazzani and
another 4 falls.
Little bit of a tighter turn.
And lying third at this stage.
The pace got a little bit steadier, and still in second, and Stella Rocker for Sweden, leading with the only double clear. And here we go, Team Sweden out again, and this man can be very fast with a jump off. It's another Belgian one, but this time riding Judo Rans Visa, Jakob Hellström.
Now next for Sweden, and this is Jacob Hellström, and he's riding Jus d'Orange van Bischoff. Jakob jumped in a few of the World Cup qualifiers last winter, amongst them Leipzig and La Coruña. He's competitive, so we'll see what the time can be. Turning very short, landing at 12, which is very quick, and coming out of the double at 18. So this is going to be a good measure for the next horses. Very fast. Taking a big chance there. Unfortunately,
and the time
didn't pay off.
was 5 seconds quicker than the current leader. From the last fences down, Jakob Hellström from Sweden
So a very fast time of 29.4. So that gives a measure of the time that can be done. One probably needs to get a little more organized to the last fence to leave that one up. Next is the very young Jodie Hall McAteer, and she's riding Salt and Pepper. 10-year-old, gelding by Stutzenberg, a gold medalist team and silver individual in ponies. Jodie has made a very easy transition to horses. She's off with purpose. She's landing on 13. And 18 from the double. She's organizing to the last and jumping the last clear. And this is a fast time, 30.64. Probably could be beaten, but clear round and leaves her in first position at this point. Great performance by Jodie. And just look at that replay on the screen. Look at that big jump. That was brilliant. Beautifully written to the last fence. So next it's for Spain, the only Spanish rider in the jump off, Julio Ares. Very much a permanent fixture on the Spanish team over many years now, Julio. He's riding Dirka de Brum, a 10-year-old mare by Cicero Z. Fortunately, vertical down. Would have been a difficult jump off track for this horse that has a lot of scope, but can take a little bit of organizing. Jumped last fence well, coming home with 4 faults. So into 4th place with Sweden still 3rd and 2nd, Great Britain out in front. Here we go again. So next is and this combination will be very fast, believe you me. Lavinia, Randa Rusev, Jake Farewell, Great Britain. Next for the UK we have what would be very much the favourite, Jake Saywell. He won the Grand Prix last week. He won this very class last year with the wonderful Havinia on the Rosshoover, a 12-year-old, by the same sire as the last horse by coincidence. And this Jake will really show us how fast it can be done. Landing at 12, he's in touch, had to organize a little bit before the double. Landing at 18, so he's close, but even one out there. And going very fast with this one. Coming in on 29.21, so nearly taken off a second of the present leader. So into the lead goes Jake Saywell, trying to do it 2 in a row, both 2 weeks in a row and 2 years in a row, having won it this very class last year. Jake, who has a good team of horses here at the Sunshine Tour and has been in the money with his other horses as well. So next is for Ireland is Greg Broderick. Greg is riding Dabel. Dabel, a 10-year-old, just a 10-year-old by Nabab Derev, out of a Chin Chin mare, beautifully bred mare.
29-21. That's your time to beat.
In the jump off last week, and back in the jump off this week. The twisty track should suit this mare. Very balanced. Oh, unlucky. Fast as well.
Just like Dave,
Fortunately, last fence down. So finishing unfortunately at 8 falls in 30 seconds, leaving Greg at the moment on 8th place.
Jake Sewell leads, Jody Holman is here in Sweden in third, and Jakob Helsen sitting in fourth. And now to the next. For the Netherlands, the only chance to make it through to the jump off. With the 11-year-old just again, Eric van der Vleuten, the Netherlands.
Eric.
The target is 29-21.
Eric with Joost again.
Has Jake done enough? Or
Again, a horse that is finding the partnership after a patchy start during the indoor season. Year since being in Montemedio, the combination has been extremely consistent and successful. This is a fast horse. Always goes with a very fast ground rhythm. It's just a little behind landing there. Very athletic.
Up and over the last
Clear.
fence to clear all the way.
Just
30.89.
outside.
And it's good enough for third place to Sverige, but Eric van
A
der
great
Vleuten,
round.
Tiempo 30, y 80,
Leaving Eric at the moment in third place.
Still leads, and after this, it's 4 rounds to go. 4 riders have just
This horse is going to be very successful on the outdoor circuit. Eric, who's not going to the big show in Holland, 's-Hertogenbosch, having decided to stay in Montemedio and to get ready for Mexico here on the Sunshine Tour. Now, for Ireland, Richard Howley, and Richard is going with Chinook. This suits Chinook down to the ground, short turns on the sixpence, this horse does. He's well in touch there. Very fast through the diagonal there. And to the diagonal again, jumping this one, leading it up and taking nearly 2 seconds of the leader. Jake normally doesn't leave 2 seconds no place, so this indicates a little bit the fastest is going to be a very difficult time to beat. So Richard now well into the lead with just 4 more horses to go.
Representing Great Britain with Lordanos Jr., Harry Charles.
Another hungry rider here. Again, wouldn't have the benefit. Chinook has been with Richard for such a long time. This is a new combination, so it's a big ask for Harry to try and better the time. But he's having a go. just a little below. Horse came back a little too much there, and horse came back more than what he wanted. Had the back pole down. Again, very smooth over the last two. Fast time, but unfortunately 4 faults for Harry.
And he's going to get on the airplane tonight to head to Doha to compete in the 5-star classes next week, and then he's coming back here for the final 3 weeks. 3 left to go. France and Belgium, but Ireland lead in 27.
Next now is Penelope Le Brevoux with her new and young horse Cartino 10. Big ask to be competitive with a horse this young and a horse this new, but Penelope is nothing if not a trier, and a very effective trier at that. So let's see whether she decides to go for a steady clear or whether she has a cut. Not hanging around. Just had that second fence down, unfortunately. She stepped down behind. It's a big jumper.
Really pushed up that line, didn't she? And then the first one, Oxer came down. It is
A fast time, especially after the second fence when she had to get a bit serious with him. After the second fence, the horse landed and had to go a little bit wide for the following vertical, but still a good time in 30. It looks like this could be just a very competitive horse for Penelope for this season. So another speed merchant is Gudrun Patate with her new Val de la Madre Cluny. This horse jumped an impressive first round. Ooh, unlucky.
And it is 1 fence down, 13.
Time she slowed down a little bit after having the fence down, but good time, leaving her 8th, unfortunately, with the 4 faults. The small rub there on the double. Looks like again this is a horse that's going to be very competitive for her. It's one of the great things with this Sunshine Tour is that it has been the launching pad for a lot of great combinations. Now, last to go is Jérôme Guéry for Belgium with Kelstar du Vinpont. Quick turn. Unfortunately 4 faults, so not to be for him. So we have a winner, and it's a winner for Ireland. And Richard Howley and Chinook have won this with a good margin and in very impressive style. So
finishes in second place, but in fact it is 1 fence down for Jérôme Guéry in 30.29. which means he finishes outside of 10th place. But what a wonderful class.
I think they marked this as a clear round, but in my opinion, the front bar of the Oxer did fall. So there's the result. And first is Richard Halley with Chinook, second Jake Saywell. Impressive margin between first and second. Third for the UK, Jody Hall McAteer, another young rider. Eric van der Vleuten fourth, and Stella Rulke for Sweden in fifth. And a wonderful result for Stella, definitely the best results of her career so far. And as often in the Sunshine Tour, we can see a lot of stars of the future, some young horses get an opportunity in wonderful conditions, as well as the reaffirmation of older stars, like in this case Chinook, which was clearly unbeatable. And a great result for Richard. So this was the Cadiz Grand Prix, a €50,000 class. And we'll join Eamon McGowan to interview Richard.
Well, here we are at the end of week 2 of Spain, and it's the 3-star Grand Prix, and it was for €50,000, and Richard Halley has won 12,500, and that must be a great feeling.
Absolutely delighted, yeah.
And not only did you win the Grand Prix, Richard, but you were second in a ranking class earlier, and that's brilliant, isn't it? Here, coming here with these horses and really producing them and bringing them on.
Absolutely, it's a fantastic day for my stable. Both horses are actually owned by Sarah Bothwick and myself, and it's absolutely a great day for us. It's a shame she can't be here, but she was watching very closely on the live stream, and the guys here at Sunshine Tour have got such an amazing setup with every round being videoed, so the owners can really stay tuned in.
And that's great, the team at Clip My Horse and all the media team providing that. But going into the course, Richard, there were some big fences in there, 1.60 metre vertical at number 11, and that was in the jump off. And you had a brilliant turn back to that, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I know my horse inside out. He really is very handy against the clock. He can really turn back to jumps. You can make a good plan with him for the jump off, so you can kind of nail it. When it comes off, he's usually a hard one to catch.
And there's 4 more weeks to go here in Vihera, and it's the Silver 25th anniversary. What's going to be your game plan, thinking about keeping the horses right and thinking about 4 more weeks of, big jumping? The last Grand Prix nearly for €150,000.
Absolutely, that's the main goal at the end of the tour. Chinook won't jump next week. I'll jump 1 or 2 of my other horses in the bigger classes, so we're spreading it out a little bit. And of course, putting the best horse forward for the Invitational, the final Grand Prix.
Richard, well done on today. Second in the ranking, the winner of the Grand Prix and the tricolour, top of the order. It was great to see. Sláinte, Mo Cheara, well done.